Starting today, Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo activated their missile warning data sharing system amid renewed missile threats by North Korea. The three nations also agreed upon a multi-year exercise plan starting next year for regular military drills. President Yoon named his National Security Advisor Cho Tae-yong as the nation's new intelligence agency chief and former UN Ambassador Cho Tae-yong as the new foreign minister. This comes ahead of next year's general election and amid heightened tensions on the peninsula. More than 100 people were killed and hundreds injured in China as a 6.2 earthquake hit the country's northwest on Monday night. It's December 19, 2023. This is Newscenter.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jong-min. We start with South Korea, the U.S. and Japan activating a system to share warning data amid renewed missile threats by Pyongyang. Sharing data about such provocation had been limited to during exercises, but now warning information can be shared around the clock. The three nations also agreed upon a multi-year exercise plan starting next year. Our defense correspondent Choi Min-jung reports.
South Korea, the U.S., and Japan on Tuesday launched a warning information sharing system for North Korean missiles. The Defense Ministry said the system has been established to detect and evaluate missiles launched in real time so that they could ensure the safety of citizens and improve related capabilities.
We expect that today's achievements will further enhance a new era of trilateral security cooperation. The three countries will continue to strengthen trilateral cooperation to ensure peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region, including on the Korean Peninsula and beyond.
The three countries are now able to share data on a missile's presumed launch site, flight path, and landing site. On top of that, warning data is now shared around the clock. Previously, data sharing on North Korean missiles had been limited to during exercises.
Information used to be shared temporarily and partially during general training. But now, South Korea, the U.S., and Japan operate a new system that allows them to share North Korea's missile warning information 24 hours a day.
The Defense Ministry and experts say that the sharing system will further strengthen the military's response posture and capabilities by allowing South Korea to quickly obtain more accurate information.
It is meaningful that the American early warning satellites can detect stress in advance within 7 to 9 seconds after liftoff. It takes 3 to 6 minutes for a missile attack from North Korea to South Korea. However, if it is detected within 7 to 9 seconds, it can be intercepted more quickly and accurately.
Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo have also approved a multi-year exercise plan. Starting next year, they will regularize military drills and carry out exercises in line with growing provocations from Pyongyang. The leaders of the three countries had decided to establish a multi-year exercise plan at the Camp David summit in August and agreed upon the need for the warning data sharing system at a trilateral summit held in November last year. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
North Korea has formally acknowledged its testing of a Hwasong-18 solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile yesterday as it sent a direct message towards Washington. Our North Korean affairs correspondent Kim Jong-sil reports.
North Korea made it official that what it fired on Monday morning was indeed the Hwasong-18 solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile. The North State-run Korean Central News Agency reported on Tuesday that the launch was conducted under a grave situation where the anti-North Korean military threat by what it called hostile forces is getting more blatant and dangerous even towards the end of the year.
Pyongyang wants to say that it has the upper hand when it comes to military matters on the Korean Peninsula. In particular, the Hwasong-18 is an ICBM, so the fact that Kim Jong-un was there might be aimed at sending some kind of message to the U.S.
Photos released by Pyongyang showed Kim with his daughter Jue at the launch site, who stayed close to her father throughout. The KCNA reported that Kim Jong-un said the launch demonstrates what action and option North Korea is ready to take if, quote, Washington makes a wrong decision. What you're looking at is the Hwasong-18 being carried by a transporter erector launcher or TEL in a tunnel. Experts said this suggests that Pyongyang's missiles can be hidden inside tunnels and can be launched at any time.
What's important to note this time is that the launch took place in Pyongyang. It's important to note that there are facilities like the tunnels near Pyongyang that are designed to fit a Hwasong-18.
The expert added that these launcher vehicles make the missiles harder to detect and intercept. A South Korean Unification Ministry official told reporters on Tuesday that Pyongyang tries to justify its nuclear and missile development plans by shamelessly blaming the South Korea-US alliance while repeatedly ignoring UN Security Council resolutions. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
And regarding that latest ICBM launch, President Yoon today warned that the provocations will only inflict more pain on the regime itself. He also took the opportunity at a cabinet meeting to address key issues in and out of the country. Our presidential office correspondent Kim Do-yeon has more.
A firm message by President Yoon Suk-yeol to North Korea on Tuesday following its launching of intercontinental and short-range ballistic missiles in the past 2 days.
북한 정권은 자신들의 이러한 도발이 오히려 스스로에게 더 큰 고통으로 돌아올 것이라는 것을 깨닫게 될 것입니다.
The comment came as he opened a cabinet meeting where he also said that North's actions were a significant and serious challenge to the security of the Korean peninsula and the world. He also said the launch provided an opportunity to check if the sharing of real-time missile warning data between South Korea, the US, and Japan works. This was set up back in November 2022 when the leaders of the three countries met in Phnom Penh. In addition, he said with the nuclear consultative group meeting last week in Washington, the construction of a unified extended deterrence system between South Korea and the US has come within reach. This, he says, signifies the materialization of a strong nuclear-based ROK-US alliance.
정부는 북핵 위협에 대해 국민들께서 아무 걱정 없이 편안하게 지내실 수 있도록 경제 사회 활동을 원활하게 하실 수 있도록 확실하게 뒷받침하겠습니다.
He also took time to look back into his state visit to the Netherlands last week. He cited the new, quote, chip alliance with the Netherlands as the Dutch chip-making equipment company ASML holds key technology for semiconductor production. Just for semiconductor cooperation, the two countries signed 6 MOUs.
President Yoon told the cabinet that the chip alliance implies sharing sensitive information and technology and jointly nurturing talent. The Netherlands recognizes us as a semiconductor ally, and both domestically and globally, attention is being paid to the semiconductor alliance between our two countries.
But he said cooperation isn't limited to this industry and that bilateral cooperation will be deepened in clean energy, science, and agriculture. In the meantime, he also urged the relevant ministries to follow up on the newly passed Supply Chain Stabilization Act. He said to thoroughly prepare for the prompt operation of the early warning system and supply chain risk management system as per the new law. He added that the weaponization of resources and fragmentation of supply chains represent the biggest challenges faced by the global economy. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Ahead of next April's general election, current National Security Advisor Cho Tae-yong was nominated as the Intel Agency Chief, and former Ambassador to the UN, Cho Tae-yeol, was named as the new Foreign Minister, both known as seasoned diplomats. The presidential office has also decided to create a new position to better handle economic security issues. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Pei Eun-ji with the details.
President Yoon Suk-yeol has named current National Security Advisor Cho Tae-yong as the head of the country's intel agency. He will be filling the vacancy created after the National Intelligence Service Director Kim Kyu-hyun resigned last month. Cho, a veteran diplomat, joined the Foreign Ministry in 1980, and his career has mainly been focused on U.S. affairs and North Korean issues. Prior to becoming the National Security Advisor, he was the country's ambassador to the U.S. and served as the first deputy chief of the Presidential National Security Office during the Park Geun-hye administration. Cho said he is aware that the intel agency's role is to present accurate information at the right time to help the country make the right decisions.
I'll make utmost efforts to make the National Intelligence Service becomes one of the best intel agencies in the world.
And the former ambassador to the United Nations, Cho Tae-il, was nominated as the country's new foreign minister. Also a veteran diplomat, the presidential office explained that he has expertise in bilateral and multilateral diplomacy, especially in the field of economy and trade. After starting his career as a diplomat in 1979, he served as the ambassador to Spain and the chairman of the World Trade Organization dispute panel. Cho said he feels a heavy weight on his shoulders at a time of major geopolitical shifts, noting the intense competition between the U.S. and China and the Ukraine war.
I will do my best to strengthen the foundation for national security and prosperity by expanding the nation's diplomatic position and our strategic space.
The National Assembly will be holding confirmation hearings, but the president can effectively make the appointments since parliamentary approval for ministerial positions is not mandatory. Tuesday's nominations come amid escalating tensions on the Korean peninsula and a cabinet reshuffle in recent weeks, with incumbent ministers and top secretaries leaving their posts to run for parliament next April. As for the new National Security Advisor, a senior presidential official said the nominee will be announced after further reviews. Amid global supply chain risks, the official also said the presidential office will create a new position of a third deputy national security advisor to handle economic security issues. Currently, the first deputy advisor handles foreign policy issues, while the second deputy is in charge of national defense. 배은지, Arirang News.
The United Nations Security Council will hold a meeting at UN headquarters in New York on Tuesday local time to discuss North Korea's recent ballistic missile launches. The meeting has been convened by the U.S. to discuss ways to respond to the intercontinental ballistic missile launched by Pyongyang into the East Sea on Monday. South Korea will also participate in the meeting to condemn the missile launches as an interested party, though it is not a current member of the Council. In the meantime, South Korea, the U.S. and Japan held a high-level consultative meeting on Tuesday to address North Korea's illegal cyber activities. South Korea's Deputy National Security Advisor In Sung-hwan, along with his American and Japanese counterparts Ann Neuberger and Keiichi Ichikawa, participated in the meeting. The three shared their assessment of North Korea's cryptocurrency thefts and its hacking organizations and agreed to enhance trilateral cooperation to counter Pyongyang's illegal activities in the IT sector. The working group was launched last month as a follow-up to an agreement reached during the trilateral summit at Camp David in August. In neighboring China, more than 100 people had lost their lives after an earthquake struck the mountainous Gansu province on Monday night. Rescue workers are now scrambling to find survivors in sub-zero temperatures. Song Yujin has the latest.
At least 118 people have died and hundreds left injured after an earthquake hit China's northwest Gansu province on Monday. According to the province's emergency management department, 105 deaths were confirmed as of Tuesday morning. State media CCTV reported that 13 others were killed in the neighboring Qinghai province, while over 500 people have been injured. The quake struck Gansu's Jishishan County late Monday night near its provincial boundary with Qinghai. The U.S. Geological Survey measured the magnitude at 5.9, while the China Earthquake Network Center put it at 6.2. There were 9 aftershocks by 10 a.m. Tuesday, with the largest one recording a magnitude of 4.1. Thousands of homes and buildings have been damaged. The quake also cut off water, electricity, and mobile signals in some areas. In response, Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for all-out search and rescue efforts, with more than 4,000 firefighters, soldiers, and police officers having been dispatched to the affected regions.
The Provincial Earthquake Relief Headquarters Office coordinated with the Provincial Bureau of Grain and Material Reserves to transport the first batch of emergency supplies to the disaster areas.
Rescue workers are rushing to find survivors trapped under rubble, with concerns mounting over the bitter winter cold. Overnight temperatures in the area ranged from -9 to -15 degrees Celsius.
We will fully mobilize medical resources throughout the province and go all out to carry out medical treatment, psychological counseling, epidemic prevention, water quality testing, and publicity, guidance, and education.
Earthquakes have become somewhat common in mountainous regions of western China. Last September, more than 70 people were killed in a magnitude 6.8 earthquake that hit the southwestern province of Sichuan. 송유진, Arirang News.
Over in the Middle East, following latest talks between U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin and Israeli officials in Tel Aviv, Israel could gradually transition to a new phase of its offensive in Gaza, meaning more precise targeting of Hamas rather than widespread bombing. Jong-un has the latest.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant held a joint news conference in Tel Aviv on Monday to discuss the current state of military operations in the region. Gallant stated the Israel Defense Forces will gradually transition to the next phase of its operations in Gaza, in which the local population would likely be able to first return to the north of the coastal strip. Austin highlighted the importance of reducing harm to civilians, adding that protecting Palestinian civilians in Gaza was both a moral duty and a strategic imperative.
And we also have some great thoughts about how to transition from high-intensity operations to a lower intensity and more surgical operations.
In turn, Gallant stated Israel's intent to continue its operations at varying levels of intensity, depending on the regional situation.
We will continue to operate in different levels of intensity according to the situation in the region. And
Gallant also expressed Israel's intent not to control Gaza in any civilian way, but to carry out the necessary operations for securing its future. Austin was the latest among the Biden administration to visit Israel since the unprecedented October 7th attack on Israel by the Palestinian militant group. Washington, Israel's closest ally, has provided intense military and diplomatic cover for the war in Gaza. U.S. President Joe Biden, however, warned last week that Israel was losing international support because of its indiscriminate bombing. The humanitarian situation in Gaza is dire. Nearly 19,500 people have been killed by Israeli military action in Gaza since October 7th, and more than 52,000 wounded, according to the Hamas-controlled Ministry of Health. The UN stated that much of northern Gaza has been decimated by airstrikes, and more than 80% of the enclave's population has been displaced. 정은주, Arirang News.
In the Vatican, the Catholic Church has endorsed blessings for same-sex couples, provided they are not part of regular church rituals. Though the doctrine regarding marriage does not change, it's seen as a tangible shift in policy. Choi Soo-young explains.
Catholic priests will now be able to bless same-sex couples. On Monday, Pope Francis approved the declaration Fiducia Supplicans published by the Vatican's Faith Department that allowed the possibility of blessings for couples in irregular situations, including unmarried couples, divorces, and same-sex couples.
People with homosexual tendencies are children of God. God loves them. God is with them.
However, the Vatican made clear this is not on offering any type of ritualization or impression of a marriage. The document stated that the blessing must never be given in regular ritual ceremonies, including the sacrament of marriage, mass, or a civil union, nor can it be given in connection with them. Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, who signed the ruling, said it does not violate the sacrament of marriage between a man and a woman, as it does not change or modify the Church's long-standing stance on marriage. But for the first time in the Catholic Church's history, the Vatican has opened itself to same-sex couples. It follows the Pope's continued commitment to reform and indicates a change from the Vatican's position in 2021 when it refused to bless same-sex unions. In October, the Pope indicated that priests could bless same-sex couples based on their judgment. However, conservative cardinals sought clarification on whether such blessings aligned with Catholic teachings. The Pope responded by emphasizing that marriage is exclusively between a man and a woman, and rituals implying in any other way should be avoided. Last Sunday, Pope Francis celebrated his 87th birthday, and according to religious experts, there is a prediction that, due to his ongoing health issues in old age, he may become even more proactive in Catholic reforms. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
One man's waste may be another man's treasure, and the wisdom of these words are being tested to generate power from unlikely sources. Yoon tells us more.
When a car engine is started, there is vibration on the hood of the car, as well as rise in its surface temperature, up to 60 degrees Celsius. This is where scientists have discovered wasted energy and are now looking to develop technology to harvest such energy that goes to waste. Until recently, energy from the vibrations and the heat were measured separately and not deemed efficient enough to be a power source. But a team of Korean researchers have now succeeded in designing a hybrid energy harvester that combines piezoelectricity and thermoelectricity, resulting in a higher final power generation. Attaching a brass plate onto the surface of the heated surface increases available thermoelectricity. The brass cantilever creates additional energy as its unattached end vibrates, which is the piezoelectricity. And the resulting amplified energy from both the heat and vibration is nearly twofold.
The energy is not simply 1 + 1 = 2, it's actually lower. But when we build an integrated system, the combination of the thermal and piezoelectric energy doubles its output.
The electrical energy produced simply from the hood of a running car is enough to operate the location tracking sensor of a smartphone GPS.
The significance in the hybrid energy harvester that we've developed is that electric energy can be converted from energy that otherwise goes to waste in our daily lives.
This is the first successful hybrid energy harvest, where gathered waste energy from heat and vibration was able to successfully charge wireless electronics like a smartphone. Though still in its development stage, the team of South Korean researchers have taken the discovery to the next level, as introduced in the international scientific journal Energy Conservation and Management. Yoon, Arirang News.
With cold wave warnings centered on Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do provinces, cold spells are expected to be similar to today's, with -8 degrees Celsius in Seoul and -12 in Daegwallyeong tomorrow morning. However, from tomorrow afternoon, the Arctic cold will go south again, and below zero temperatures will continue all day. Please prepare for extremely cold conditions. From this evening, there's going to be snow in the Midwestern areas. The snow will expand to the Chungcheong-do province tomorrow, and there will be lots of snow on the west coast. More than 15 centimeters is expected in Jeollado provinces, 10 centimeters on the west coast near the Chungcheong-do provinces and mountainous areas of Jeju Island. The snow on the west coast and Jeju Island will last until late in the week. For tomorrow, most regions will start the day at below zero. Seoul and Chuncheon at -8 degrees. Highs in Seoul will get up to -5. Gwangju -1 degree Celsius. On Thursday, the coldest temperatures of this winter so far are in the forecast. Seoul will plunge to -15 degrees Celsius. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That's Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session up next.